Hi, my name is Guy Bartram. I'm Director of our Cloud Service Provider Marketing, and today I'm going to talk to you about technical debt, the struggle that organizations have with it, the impact of it, and how cloud service providers can help address technical debt. So let's start with what is it? It's not all about code. Code is obviously number one, where we see code developed over time, resulting in changes of scope, which results in retuning, which results in more technical debt. Every time something changes or something is developed, there are potentially new architectures, new frameworks for development, new languages, and everything has a shelf life. So the longer you take to deliver something, the more chances are that there's going to be technical debt accrued in that delivery. And equally, infrastructure that supports your applications that you build, this will also become technical debt over time. Infrastructures that may be other cloud environments that require skills and resources that over time can't be satisfied or are harder to find. All of these things lead to technical debt. And of course, budget under constant optimization limits the ability to address technical debt. So you want to kind of actually get rid of your technical debt, perhaps by merging environments or reusing or rehosting, etc. And you can't do that because the budgets just aren't available to do it. So this has a huge impact on businesses. If you start, innovation is stifled due to technical debt. The challenge organizations have is managing their operational processes and support whilst having to innovate. And you can't necessarily do innovation when you're spending 90% of your time doing maintenance, upgrades, patching, etc., and looking after that technical debt. Equally, quick fixes, quick workarounds, they introduce more technical debt. And this can be particularly disastrous in code, where you may see issues with user experience, downtime, and obviously brand reputation. So that can affect reliability. And the cost of maintaining complex systems can get significant if you're not building them correctly in the first place. And bolting onto systems makes it more complicated. The service anatomy of a solution is actually very, very complex these days. It's not just a typical 3-tier model like it used to be, which was already complex. Now it's far more complex. And all the complexity has an associated cost. And obviously, as technical debt builds up, the infrastructure becomes more complicated and harder to manage. There is more reliance on operational staff to manage this rather than being to innovate and be productive. And it can't be avoided. You're always going to have it. As long as there's new technologies, there'll be new competition, and there'll be a new need to kind of utilize those technologies to the best. And this will mean new skills, new resources, and the existing kind of technical deployments over time will move into technical legacy and technical debt. Pressure to execute will continue. The changing pace of technology that we're seeing now means businesses are really having to try hard to maintain competitiveness, and technical debt will slow that down. And equally, if you don't address it, it's going to get bad. It's going to get to the point where you're unable to really do anything without seeing the cost of technical debt as a primary cause for not being able to move forward. And some stats here that, just affirm what I've been saying. 30% of CIOs agree technical debt amounts to 20 to 40% the value of their entire technology estate. And 42% of development is spent per week dealing with technical debt. So not doing new feature functions, but dealing with technical debt. 69% of IT leaders found that technical debt fundamentally limits their ability to innovate. And 61% stated that technical debt negatively affects their organization's performance. So it's a real key statistics which really quantify the impact that technical debt has. And there is a lot of technical debt associated with cloud and IT, obviously. It could be intentional. IT could be doing a quick and dirty deployment of a solution to meet a business need. And we've seen a lot of this in hyperscale, just quick and dirty deployments of applications or VMs. And then, months later, that becoming a reliance on the business becoming reliant on it, and that costing the business a lot of money and having security and architecture and performance challenges. It could be unintentional. You may not know exactly what you've got or what you're doing. You achieve the core result, but you've got ancillary issues with this and features that need to be managed without realizing it. It could be based on change or dependencies in IT infrastructure. So that was a forced, unavoidable technical debt. And of course, you've got set in technical debt, which is really that progressive devolution, that compounded issue where systems have become more sophisticated and bolted on over time, become mission critical, and become harder and harder to maintain. And there's different types of technical debt. You don't have one or the other, but you have a kind of a mix of them all, a combination. But just to kind of make you aware, exponential increase, this is a compounded debt, making it really hard to deploy new features without incurring even more debt. So that has a huge organizational impact, and you can see it goes up exponentially. Linear, this is consistent over time from continual IT infrastructure development without addressing debt. So this will get bad over time, but it's not going to be exponential. It's going to be significant. A stepped increase, debt increases in discrete jumps, significant events like a new product that's rolled out, periodically impacting the organization. Fluctuating, this is periodic investment in reducing debt, alternating between development and refactoring or repaying debt. So this is a fluctuating impact. And flat, this is what we want everyone to be at, but it's a utopia. This is the best approach for managing growth. This is a balanced development with maintenance approach. It's not usually achievable without offsetting services to another outsourcer to help you alleviate that pressure that you have on managing your technical debt, so you can focus on development. So you must solve these problems, and you've got to approach this through a framework that works. And the basic kind of premise of the framework starts with an analysis. You've got to be able to understand and really understand your service estate and estimate the business impact of all these different technologies in play. And CSPs have great assessment services to help you with this. You've got to understand the effect of uncertainty on business outcomes. You've got to understand the direct costs that you're going to incur, the immediate financial impact from making any changes. And you've got to understand the strategic impact, like where do you want to go? What is the qualitative impact of that analysis? So identify, measure, accept, and solve. So how do you solve? How do you correct technical debt? Well, the easiest way of doing that is just stop, cease. Don't introduce any new debt. Slow development, stop development. Obviously very impractical, but this will help you then remeasure your architectural practices. It'll help you have time to fix and close releases and ensure all the quality gates have been addressed. It will allow you to address technical issues in your backlog and infrastructure. And it will really then allow you to look at your budget for technical replacement to mitigate any long-term debt. So option 1, cease. Option 2, payback. So this is about investing and starting to pay back your debt that you already have. So this involves replacing or retiring legacy systems. Do we still need them? Refactoring applications or rebuilding non-standard code. So removing that reliance on non-standard code and bringing it into a standard framework. Refreshing aging equipment or rehosting systems or migrating to a new environment. And CSPs have offerings aligned to address all of these approaches. Whether you're retiring systems on the far left here, where that's no investment to you, it's a fast time to value, no complexity involved there, there is no production. To right at the right-hand side here, where you're refactoring, writing for microservices or other technologies, high investment, long time to complete that refactor typically. We have a long time to value, and it's very complex. Then you've got these in the middle services from retaining, where you can bring in managed services to help alleviate that pressure on premise, so in your existing IT environment. And this allows you to kind of grow your operations and have backfield services to support you. So grow your operations, innovate your operations, allow like new projects and things like that, whilst a service provider backfills the services and operational processes and supports you throughout that period. Rehosting, this is about mitigating really technical debt. It's about moving to a scalable, secure, cost-effective new cloud platform in the CSP, So taking advantage of their data centers, their certification compliance, their automation and operational processes, and rehosting into their infrastructure. This is a high value item. It's a medium investment because you're buying services and physical infrastructure. It is the fastest time to value because service providers already have the infrastructure, and this is a VMware to VMware shift, so there's very little complexity. So it's a very fast time to production and removes a lot of technical debt straight away. And there's replatforming your infrastructure, perhaps into containers. That's obviously a migration and on to full-on modernization. But cloud alone or a single technology alone will not address 100% technical debt. Okay, you need the services to align with you to support you throughout. Cloud providers are uniquely placed because they know they operate at scale. They know the systems inside out. They have the skills and resources. They have the virtual CIO kind of place at the table where they can advise which technologies would be best and help customers with that process for different projects. And they can take on either a very small estate within your environment or a very large estate within your environment, or move the whole thing to their environment. They're very flexible in how they will help you manage. And they surround everything that you're going to do with services, a vast array of services that will help you optimize and negate your technical debt. Now, Cloud Foundation is a really pivotal product here. And the reason being is Cloud Foundation is a consistent private cloud infrastructure with a common operating model, which can be deployed at customer prem, can be moved, the license can be put at a cloud provider data center, or can be purchased via the cloud provider, and also can run on edge. So when you look at that, you can have all of your VCF instances on-prem, your VMware Cloud Foundations instances within your premise. You can move them to a cloud provider. You can move them to a VMware hyperscale provider that supports license portability. And you've got very much the choice of a target endpoint. You've got the consistent operations. What technical debt wants is siloed operations, complex operations with unique tools. And Cloud Foundation isn't going to give technical debt that ammunition. And of course, these benefits we pass on to our customers, the service provider passes on to their customers. So you have platform consistency, as I just mentioned, Cloud Foundation, uniformity. That really makes onboarding easy because it's VMware to VMware. So there's nothing to kind of migrate or no complex disk conversions. There's no new networking architecture or security architecture. It's all VMware. Interoperability, the ease of transfer of workloads, not having a lock-in. Streamline management, Cloud Foundation's skills and resources. The service provider community can provide a lot more skills and resources to help with on-time project deliveries, remove security vulnerabilities, provide additional services to help you deliver the business outcome that you need. Increased efficiency is really important. Service providers have tools and automation that will help speed up your deployments and also critically remove error rates. And when something like 99% of all security issues are caused by human error, that's important. So lowering those error rates will help lower tickets, service quality, service outage, and hence operational costs. And of course, you can use their resources. So you don't have to necessarily skill up your resources in the same old technologies as you bring them on board. You can use the service provider for that. So you're cutting down on your requirement for training and cost. And it's going to free up your resources to focus on the projects that are important to the business and the outcomes that are important to the business. And lastly, the last big benefit, there's many more, but this is the last one I could think of, is agility. That swift adaptation to new technologies. That's going to give you your competitive edge. Technical debt destroys your competitive edge. And service providers can deliver the services and the infrastructure and the support you need to remove your technical debt or negate a lot of your technical debt to give you the chance to focus on innovation with the service provider or with your own business by yourselves and keep that competitive edge, which is so important to all of us. That's it. Thank you very much. I hope this has kind of clarified a little bit about what technical debt is and how our service providers can help you address it. Thank you.